My name is Carrie McDonald. The subject is phonics for 2nd grade. The teacher's objective is the teacher will demonstrate the understanding of phonics by decoding words with common prefixes and suffixes. For our review, we will go over our words that we had gone over the previous week, such as act, quick, govern, and this will help us feed into prefixes and suffixes. The purpose is the learner will understand the meaning of prefixes and suffixes and how they can change the meaning of a word. Last week we learned about the meaning of words could be changed by adding or deleting parts of the word. Today we will focus on the meaning of prefixes and suffixes, and then we will discuss the way they can change the meaning of a word. Tomorrow we will review the meaning of prefixes and suffixes and change different paragraphs meanings by adding in different prefixes and suffixes. The objective is the learner will be able to create new meanings to words by adding a prefix or a suffix to the original word. My motivation is a video on vocabulary. After the video, we will discuss the video and talk about the prefixes and suffixes and their meanings. The teacher will introduce the students to new words, go over the meanings of the words with the prefix or the suffix, such as reread, to read again, because read is to read, and to redo is to read again, to do again. Unkind is not kind, because un is not. Misspell, to spell wrong. Miss is wrong, to do something wrong. Preheat, to heat before. Pre is to do before. We would also talk about the suffix part of it, which would be breakable, able to break. Governor, someone who governs, because or is someone who does something, such as actor, someone who acts. After we went over those, I would pass out the worksheets. The prefix addition worksheet has the prefix of the word and then the original root word. And they would have to fill in that the prefix comes before a word. They would then make their own words in the boxes below using these, like undo would make one. And then they would draw a picture of someone undoing something. And then misspell. They could misspell a word there. The suffix sheet is the same way. The suffix comes after a word. They would be able to pick a word, act, or, and draw an actor in the circle, in the square. After the worksheets, the class would go over the worksheets together. They would be able to ask questions, and I would be able to ask questions. such as what is a prefix, or who can give me an example of a prefix not on the worksheet, or anything like that. The teacher will have the class then gather on the carpet to be given either a root word or a suffix or a prefix. So if I was to give them all a couple of words, and it could be any of these words, or they could be given a suffix or a prefix. The kids would then be instructed to find someone that would go with their word. Like if someone had act and or, they could make act or. Quick and Lee could make quickly. Read. Miss and spell. And then once all the kids gathered into their own thing, I would have them each tell me what their word was before, or their suffix or prefix, what the suffix or prefix meant, what the word meant before, and what it means now. For homework, the students will be given 2 worksheets. They are 2 pages each. The prefix assessment and the suffix assessment. The prefix assessment, they would have to match un to the word over here, which it means. Like pre would be before, re would be again, miss would be wrong, and un would be not. Then they would have to use the word bank, which is on the bottom here, to fill in all of these for their prefix. The suffix one is set up the same way. Like full would mean full of, able would be can be, ly, and or is someone who. This one too has a word bank. They would fill in all the answers, and that would be their homework. For the early finishers, they would be allowed to go back to their prefix and suffix addition worksheet and color their pictures. For the special needs students, they would be able to use their accommodations listed on their IEP and work with their paras if allowed. Later in the day, the students who need further attention for remediation would be put into small groups with the student teacher, and the student teacher would help find out what their problem areas are and help to try to better explain it to them. The learner will be given for an enrichment a plain sheet of paper where they would be given like a prefix or a suffix. So if they were given the suffix OR, they would have to come up with 2 words that end in OR as a suffix, such as govern or act or, and then underline their suffix. And that would be the end of the lesson plan.